Hi guys. So like I said in class today, your homework tonight is to watch 51.3. So 51.3 is all about the selection for individual survival and reproductive success and how it benefits behaviors. So behavior is able to enhance survival and reproductive success in populations. The first behavior we're going to talk about is foraging behavior. Natural selection refines behaviors that enhance the efficiency of feeding. So, foraging is a food obtaining behavior that includes the recognizing, searching for, capturing, and then eating of food items. There is an evolution behind foraging behavior. Um, so, there's a variation of a gene that can dictate foraging behavior in different larvae of different species. Larvae with one allele are able to travel further while foraging rather than larvae that have the other allele. The larvae in high density populations are able to benefit from foraging further for food, while larvae in low density populations benefit from a short distance for food. Natural selection favors different alleles depending on the density of the population. So, depending on how many in that population are there will depend on what natural selection is going to be selecting for. Under lab conditions, evolutionary changes in the frequency of these two alleles were observed over several generations. And this is what happened. Optimal foraging is a model that views foraging behavior as a compromise between the benefits of nutrition and the costs of obtaining food. The costs of obtaining food include energy expenditure and the risk of being eaten while foraging for that food. Natural selection should favor foraging behavior that minimizes the cost while maximizing the benefits. This example is actually going to be on your test. So I would recommend you guys kind of go over this example a few times. So optimal foraging behavior is demonstrated by the northwestern crow. This crow is able to drop a whelk or a mollusk from a height to break its shell open and then feed on the soft parts of the inside. The crow faces a trade-off between the height in which it drops the whelk and the number of times it has to drop it. Researchers have determined experimentally that the total flight height at which reflects the total energy expenditure was minimized at a drop height of 5 meters. The average height of a crow for a crow is 5.3 meters. So this is just showing the lower the height, the average number of drops. And then over here at the same time, if we're looking at flight height, it goes up in flight height again. So the optimal is right here, 5.23 drop height to get less than 10 drops in order to eat the food. Animals also must balance risk and reward. So the risk of predation foraging behavior predation affects foraging behavior. So mule deer are more likely to feed in open forested areas where they are less likely to be killed by a mountain lion. Mating behavior includes seeking or attracting mates, choosing among potential mates, competing for mates, and then caring for offspring. Mating relationships define a number of distinct mating systems. A mating system between males and females can vary greatly between species. In many species, mating is promiscuous, with no strong pair bonds or lasting relationships. Each mating season, these animals will have a different mate. In monogamous relationships, one male only mates with one female. Humans are considered a monogamous species. Males and females with monogamous mating systems have similar external morphologies. So, ducks are a species that are monogamous. Deer are a species that are polygamous, which means one male, many females. And this species of bird is polyandrous, which means one female, many males. In a polygamous relationship, individuals of one sex mate with several individuals of the other sex. So species with polygamous mating systems are usually sexually dimorphic, which means males and females have different external morphologies. Male deer have antlers, female deers or does do not. Polygamous relationships can be either polygynous or polyandrous. In polygyny, one male mates with many females. The males are usually more showy and larger than the females, so like our deer. And in polyandry, one female mates with many males, and the female is often more showy than the males. So this is our female here, this is a male. Mating systems and parental care. The needs of young are an important factor in the constructing of an evolutionary mating system. Consider bird species where chicks need to constantly be supplied with food. The male maximizes his reproductive success by staying with his mate while helping to care for the chicks, which is a monogamous relationship. But if you consider a bird species where chicks are soon able to feed and care for themselves, males will maximize their reproductive success by seeking additional mates through polygyny. Certainly, the certainty of a paternity, so a father figure influence parental care and mating success. Females can be certain that eggs laid or young born will contain her genes. However, paternal certainty depends on that mating behavior. Paternal certainty is relatively low in species with internal fertilization because mating and birth are separated over time. The certainty of paternity is much larger when an egg laying and mating occur together as an external fertilization. In species with external fertilization, paternal care is at least as likely to be by males as it is by females. So that certain types of fish are able to fertilize externally and lay eggs immediately. Sexual selection and mate choice. So sexual dimorphism results from sexual selection, which is a form of natural selection. In intersexual selection, members of one sex choose mates based off of certain traits. Intrasexual selection involves the competition between members of the same sex for mates. That leads us to mate choice by females. So female choice is one type of intrasexual selection. Females can drive sexual selection by being choosy of the males in which they mate with because of specific behaviors or features of anatomy. For example, female stalk-eyed flies choose males with long eyelashes. We also see this in peacocks that females will be picky to pick the bird that has the most beautiful and largest and most colorful flowers. Ornaments such as long eyelashes or decorative feathers correlate with health and vitality. Another example of mate choice by females occurs in zebra finches. Female chicks who imprint on ornamented fathers are more likely to select an ornamented mate. Experiments suggest that mate choice by female zebra finches has played a role in the evolution of ornamented male zebra finches. So here's our ornamented male finch up here and our female down low. This is just showing again, if both parents are ornamented, the female is more likely to choose ornamented because it gives them an ornamented child. When mate choice is copying, it's a behavior in which individuals copy the mate choice of others. So an experiment with guppies, the choice of female models the influence of the choice of other females. Male competition. I like to think of like rams when they butt horns and they lock horns. That's actually mate choice happening. the stronger ram in that example usually gets the female. So male competition for mates is a source of intra-sexual selection that can reduce variation among males. Such competition may involve an agonistic behavior and often a ritualized contest that determines which competitor gains access to the resource. So kangaroo kicking, rams locking horns, things like that. Game theory can be applied to sexual selection and has driven the evolution of alternative mating behavior and morphology in males. The fitness of a particular phenotype, like a behavior or a morphology, depends on the phenotypes of other individuals in that population. Game theory evaluates alternative strategies where the outcome depends on each individual's strategy and the strategy of other individuals. For example, size-blotted lizards have come in blue, orange, or yellow throats. Each color is associated with a specific strategy for obtaining the males or obtaining a mate. Orange-throated males are more aggressive and defend large territories. Blue-throated defend small territories, and yellow-throated are non-territorial. They mimic females and they use sneaky strategies in order to mate with a female. So you can see the orange, the blue, and the yellow. Like rock, paper, scissors, each strategy will outcompete one strategy, but be outcompeted by another one. The success of each strategy depends on the frequency of all the strategies put together. This drives a frequency-dependent selection to occur. And that's where we're going to stop for today. Make sure that you have watched this, you're reading through the PowerPoint, and you're taking notes to submit those for homework. Have a good day, guys.